Hello, Wasteland. Tune those ham radios and hide your chems because you're listening to the Pip Boys podcast, a Fallout podcast where your hosts, Josh and Austin, rank each and every vault in the Fallout universe by how horrifying and fucked up we find them. Probably shouldn't have swore in the intro. That's okay. We can
Fuck it.
rework
Who
that.
cares? Fuck it. We ball. Fucking.
I'm Austin. That's Josh defending my honor. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. How you doing, Josh?
Doing well. Happy to talk more Fallout after our Fallout 4 rewatch things,
Yeah.
reveal rewatch, which you should check out if you haven't already.
It's doing pretty well. You can make it do a little better, folks. Give it a click. It's
Those
really
numbers up.
fun stuff. And then we have Alec on the ones and twos. Thank our man for making this a lot more smoother than it could have been. So thank you so much.
Anytime. That's why I'm here.
Lifesaver, literally. Okay, so I really like that rigmarole. I just want to say I put that together myself. I enjoyed that a lot.
Beautiful. Me too. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Keep the momentum.
So
yeah.
this is our
yourself
pilot
on the back.
episode of this is a pilot episode of the Pip Boys podcast, a Fallout podcast. And starting here, we're kind of just working out how all of this works. So we're going to start with some news, some Fallout news, Josh.
Nuclear Fallout news.
Hell yeah! All right, so we finally have a release date for the Fallout show on Amazon Prime. And it is April 12th. And I thought it'd be cool to talk about two aspects. One, what do we want from the show? And two, how do you feel about the date? So go ahead, Josh. How do you feel about the show? What do you want from the show, kind of a deal?
I want the show to kind of encapsulate the feel and the vibe of Fallout, the universe, specifically just because, like the aesthetics, and the way that that universe is portrayed is so unique and so just
Totally agree.
ripe for the picking. It just sucks that Todd Howard, for the longest time, has been the only one to be able to pick in there with his teams, and so now getting more people exploring that universe.
It's about time.
And telling unique stories, right? 100%. Telling unique stories in that universe. I'm super excited for. What I don't want is, just another father-son story like in Fallout
Yeah.
4 or Fallout 3. If we do
Yeah.
that again, I think the show will be a bit of a failure, in my opinion. I want something
Sure.
at least a little bit unique. But yeah, just looking for something that encapsulates that vibe. And if I remember correctly, didn't we get like 20 seconds of footage when they announced the date or something like that?
We got 20 seconds of footage. There was a tease on Twitter with like a little like date or something so that we had like the Pip Boy screen. And then I think there was like technically not officially released footage that got leaked.
Yeah, 100%. I want to say around like Gamescom or something like that. There was like behind closed
Totally.
doors, and so you
And
can
I don't
watch
remember
data quality. Yes,
exactly. I don't remember if that footage was like a 1-to-1 to the footage that they actually shown. I don't think it was. I think there were snippets like that were in both kind of a deal, but I think the leaked footage had more stuff to it. Like it showed like what are they called? Like the helicarriers, the birds, whatever. Vertibirds, maybe. I don't know.
Vertibirds, yeah. It had like a lot more action to it. And then one other thing I don't want, the initial poster, people started seeing, some of the cars were flipped backwards. There's a huge, they're using AI controversy. Stop that. Stop doing AI. We should have learned from Secret Invasion. And so hopefully we did. And, if there's a cool credit sequence, pay some artists to do that.
100%. Look, here's the thing. If they just want to stay quiet and like be like, shit, we fucked up, but they change it, fine.
Right.
Like I'm cool with it. If they're like, you know what, fine. Well, all promo images going forward, no AI.
Yeah.
All the end credit stuff, no AI.
Right.
Like I get that. AI touch up is a totally different thing. Like just let someone get paid for their work. That's all I want.
100%.
That's all I want. So yeah.
What about you?
Go ahead. For the show that I wanted, I wanted an anthology series, but I even wanted an anthology series for like going from vault to vault, which is like kind of what we're doing. But I was even a little less on like, I want them to leave the vault eventually. Like I thought it'd be cool to have like an anthology series sort of where you got like 3 pretty much like debut episodes of a vault. And then after you get those 3 episodes, they kind of morphed into one shared universe, like how the vaults kind of intertwined together in a way.
Interesting.
Kind of like in Fallout 1, for those who haven't played, I haven't played all of Fallout 1, so I shouldn't talk like I know more.
Right.
But like you leave the vault to get a water chip, and I feel like the best place to go get another water chip would be another vault, right? Like that makes the most sense.
100%.
So maybe something like that. They need repairs, they're running low on stuff, so they venture out, and the only locations they might know at the time are other vaults, so that's where they head in
Right.
kind of thing. But yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head where it's like the thing I like most about Fallout is like essentially the lore and aesthetic. Like
Right.
that's
100%.
the stuff I love so much. Like
Injected into my veins.
100%. Like the whole like alternate America thing where like it
Right.
all changed with like the I don't know, like the superconductor or whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Like
100%.
whatever piece of tech got changed where it just altered history, and then in like in year 2050 whatever we still have like vintage looking cars, but it all makes
Yeah.
sense in this alternate history. It's
It's
so
super
interesting to me.
futuristic. Yeah.
Yep,
100%.
yep.
But while also being like old Americana, timely
Exactly.
stuff. Right.
And
It's beautiful.
it's very very easily identifiable. Like if I see
Mhm.
that stuff, I'm like, "Yep, that's Fallout." Like
Yeah.
if it's
Oh
not, like
yeah.
you're taking an inkling from Fallout, and they know
Yeah.
it, and they're taking that. So, yeah, I think it's extremely unique, and I want just ooze that, and
Mhm.
I will at least find things in the episodes I'm going to enjoy, type
Oh
of a
yeah.
deal. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel like it'll be like visual eye candy, like watching The
yep,
Last of Us and stuff like that, and being like, oh, there's a clicker on the roof, and
mhm,
this like you can freeze this
100%.
frame and stuff like that, and that's 100% what I'm looking for. I do kind of hope we get out of the vault by episode 1, or if episode structure, I don't know if we know the official episode count, but Andor did a really good job of like these 3 episodes are like an arc. We have the first arc with the first 3 episodes. If we did that with Fallout, and it's like the first 3 episodes are in the vault,
Mm,
and then we get out the vault at the end
mm,
of like episode 3 or the first episode, like I want to spend some time there. I don't want to spend the whole show there.
sure, sure. Yeah, I think it would be super easy to do a story about one vault, and then the
Right.
finale episode you escape the vault. I think
Yeah.
that's so easy, and I totally agree with what you're saying. I think that's
Mhm.
an easy like C plus if they did that and they pulled. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you'll tune into season 2. You'd be like, I really hope they pulled this off. But then at that
100%.
point, you're like, I know I'm getting only outside the vault stuff. So then it's kind of you're painting yourself into
That
a
yeah.
corner.
Yeah, if that
So
was the case, like I would be halfway through that first season being like, just give me season 2. Like give me outside the vault stuff. Like I feel like you're a little too limited if you stay just
yeah,
inside the vault. So like I'm gunning to get out that vault.
and if it'd be really cool if it's an anthology series in the way that like AHS does it, where it's like
Oh,
they have the same
100%.
actors, but this season 2 is
Oh
just a
yeah.
completely different vault. I think that would
Oh
be
yeah.
really interesting.
Hmm.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
So the date, April 12th. Also, before we get to the date, one last thing. I don't have the utmost confidence in Amazon either. Like I'm like I don't think it will be absolute trash quality, like the worst thing ever seen. But
The
I'd
Boys,
also
Gen
I
V, come on.
Yeah.
I
I was
know I
gonna
know I
I was gonna
know.
say
Invincible.
worst possible time to say that. We are one day after
Okay.
the Gen
All
V
right.
finale and
At me,
Invincible.
everyone.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I love The Boys. You got me
Hmm.
there. I love Gen V. I love Invincible. I look at things like I think it was Amazon, the freaking Lord of the Rings show,
Yeah.
where they had like literally billions of dollars, and the show was fine,
Oh
I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of worried we get another. All right, it
Right.
exists, but even then, that's
Hmm.
like okay, the like Fallout being in another medium exists. It's
Right.
out there. We can get more of this of the thing we want. Literally, like you said, injected into our veins. So
Hmm.
like maybe it is just like the gateway for more of that stuff to happen.
Right.
But I have more confidence in this being like a D plus type of deal than I do with it being like an A, if
Fair
that
enough.
makes sense.
I do think a lot of times that boils down to like showrunner and how involved like the creator of the game
Yeah,
is in on the show, and I don't think the creator of the OG series is on there. God knows Todd Howard has been busy with Starfield, so he's not involved in this. So it's like, has this guy, whoever the showrunner is, played the games? Can he, make something that's true to form, right? Look at the Halo showrunners. They looked at the
right.
games and they're like, let's not do
He's
anything
gonna
that the games
fuck.
did yet, and let's show some Master Cheeks, and that shit fucking sucked. That shit sucked. So hopefully the
He's right.
showrunner here can, step up and prove that he knows his shit.
Yeah, the writer who did, and I love this show, but I'm also like I've said before, I'm kind of a glutton for punishment. Like I enjoy
Hmm.
watching that kind of stuff. It's weird. I don't know. My wife hates it. There's a show called Chernobyl, right? The
Yes.
writer who did Chernobyl, I believe, is writing this, or whether writing it, directing it, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, there was someone who was like heading the Chernobyl series, is working heavily on this project as well.
Nice.
So that gives me a little more confidence because I
Right.
really like that show. I think it's well paced. I think it's well done. That kind of thing. So yeah,
It is
I
good.
have
It's
high
in good
hopes, but
hands. Perfect.
let's talk about the date, April 12th.
I mean, given the strikes and everything going on, again, pay your actors, right? Pay your writers.
100%.
stuff like that. We know a lot of stuff is getting pushed back, right? A lot of stuff is off schedule and stuff like
Mm.
that. And so right now, I feel like I'd have to look at a calendar, but I feel like there's nothing really around that April time period. So like, good spring show to, watch April, May, June, depending upon the episodes. Like I feel like that's a pretty good runtime. I don't think any Star Wars shows and Marvel shows are like really competing for that slot, right? Maybe something comes out the woodwork, right? Something's ready to go, but I
Yep.
think for the most part that's perfect time.
Yeah. I would have liked it to be kind of around the holidays, I guess, I think.
Fair
But
enough.
we also have a lot of good shows right now.
Right.
Invincible is just starting, so
Oh yeah.
I think we'll be all right. And we even like
Yeah.
I said, you guys like I said, Amazon not the best quality stuff. It's like, oh well, they got Boys, they got Gen V, they got
Yeah.
Invincible, so maybe I'm wrong on that. So
100%.
maybe we'll be able to be tied over
Right.
until April. So
Hmm.
yeah, so that's the Fallout TV show. Let's move over to. Did you see the leak, the Bethesda X/Xbox leak that
Yes, I
happened?
did. That
Yeah,
like a month ago or something like that. A couple
yeah.
like
I don't
a
have.
good
I should probably should
time.
take more notes, but there was like a Oblivion remaster was in there, but most
Yes.
importantly, Fallout 3 remaster was in that son of
God
a bitch.
damn. Yeah.
And it said 2024. Now, granted, a lot of the stuff on there did not happen on the column that they were in, so
Right.
take that with a grain of salt. But if we get a Fallout remaster, like let's say late next year, right? Because
Hmm.
between now and then, I guarantee you they're probably only be working on Starfield DLC,
Right.
maybe background like Wolfenstein/Doom stuff, and
Hmm.
then looks like prime time to make a
Indiana
remaster.
Jones. Don't get our hopes up for new Wolfenstein.
Right.
Oh man, I
Hundred
forgot
percent.
about Indiana Jones. I honestly couldn't care less about Indiana Jones. But
Indiana, or no, that's Machine Games. Never mind. Sorry.
correct. Um, but yeah, it seems like even with that, so swap those two out.
Hmm.
I still feel like it's a good time to make a remaster. Like I think the especially one that will sell.
Right.
Um, Now, granted, the Oblivion one I believe was slated for this year, so
Hmm.
we'd probably get Oblivion
Nothing.
before we get
Right.
3.
Hmm.
But yeah, one, this is a Fallout podcast. Oblivion fucking rocks. Like Oblivion's a really
Oh
good
yeah.
video game. I really like Oblivion. So if you played Skyrim and liked it, and they have a remaster for Oblivion, probably
Hmm.
worth your time. Anyway, but if they make Fallout 3 is my favorite game of all time. If you watch our content on shared screens, you would know that I talk about this all the time.
Right.
Josh even came around. You said because you played Fallout 3 semi recently again, right?
For the first time all
Oh,
last year, sunk my
hmm
teeth in
hmm
multiple playthroughs of the main story for the Karma stuff like that. 100% of the game.
hmm
Loved it.
yeah,
Loved it. Fell in
and
love
you're
with it.
with me that Fallout 3 might be the best one.
100%, because I immediately went to New Vegas, played that for 8 hours, and I was like, "Ooh, this shit, it does
And
not
that is a
hit."
take. That is a take because
I
most
know,
people would say New Vegas, but
100%. They're my best friends in the exact same camp,
mhm,
right? Huge Fallout fan.
mhm.
Fallout 3 over
We should get him on. Maybe he would
100%.
want to come on the podcast.
I can reach out, but he's in the same camp, and I see people more and more on Twitter each day being like, "Yo, 3 over New Vegas." I think our good friend Robo Desert is in the same camp too. So it's like there are dozens of us. It's that there are dozens of us meme. We are slowly rising up.
We
Uh,
exist,
and so yeah, Fallout 3, go to game. I would love to see a remaster on it.
100%. Yep,
I
that
still
would be a
haven't played,
day one purchase.
so yeah,
Perfect
that would
time.
be. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember people were like, "It'd be a perfect time to bring this to Switch." I'm like, Don't put this on Switch."
Don't burn. Yeah, my hope for it, honestly, I would want it to be more of a remake case than a remaster. Like remake
Sure.
all that in the whatever the newest Bethesda engine is, right? That
hmm
Starfield engine.
hmm hmm
Remake it there, right? We don't have to do the talking protagonist, right? But
Right.
just update a lot of those models and characters in 4K
Totally.
on the Starfield engine. I'm surprised that we're starting with 3. I'm not gonna lie, although that's the mainstream Bethesda
I have a
proper one.
theory. I have a
But
theory on
I
that.
would like them to do 1, 2, and then 3.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are going to be remakes. 3 is
Okay,
going to be a remaster, and I think in
okay,
the Fallout 4 engine, and I
right.
think that would
Which
be perfect.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah.
that. Bethesda game studios, they got studios everywhere, right? And
hmm
then we got the main studio and bunch of
hmm
support studios. Get those other studios cooking up some remakes, please, for the love of God.
I
Like
also you're 110% right. 110% right. I also think like because like we said, Todd is like always leading these projects, and I
yeah,
understand. I get it. Dude, the property is so goddamn popular. You would make so much more money if you just kind of divvy it
Stop.
out to at least one more person. It's at least double the profit, right?
Yes. Yes.
Um, but what I'm trying to get at is like, let someone take over a remaster slash remake,
Hmm.
test how they do, because I feel like you're very protective of Fallout, which
Hmm.
makes sense. It's kind of your baby at this point.
We gotta stop that though.
See how they do, and if they pass your test, you can retire, and we can finally get Fallout games for the future.
Yeah, I just want him to be more of an executive producer role because literally when it comes to
Yep,
Fallout, all we gotta do is play Mad Libs, and maybe this would be a
sure.
great Pit Boys podcast. We play Mad Libs, we make
Especially
our
for
own
people like
stories,
us,
right?
it really
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Like we're gonna buy it and play it,
100%. You're like, okay, give me a location, New Orleans, right? And you just
bro.
you just start
So
cooking,
good.
man. You just start cooking from there,
Well,
man.
you don't
It's all
even need to
Mad,
buy them anymore. It's on Game Pass.
right?
Yeah, even more reason. 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, totally with you. Give me that remaster, but I think 1 and 2 will be remakes, and I think the
I hope so.
team that is working on, because the original team that's currently working on Clockwork Revolution, I believe, the team that
Right.
made Wasteland, I think they would help in tandem with the remakes of 1 and 2.
Mhm.
And I don't know what style that would be in. I'm even down for it if it is top down. Screw it. If it's modern sensibility and it's in the Fallout universe, like I would prefer it not to be, but like, hey, I'd give it a go.
No, no, we gotta stop this top-down shit. All right, all right. Let the past die. Let those PC nerds play their PC
What?
top-down
That's
shit. All right, give us
crazy.
the
That's
modern
crazy.
sensibility. Fallout 1 and 2, please.
That's
Just tell those
crazy.
stories with in first person. I can switch to third person, right? Just do it
Well, if there's a
in
third
the.
option and it's top down.
I feel like that's too much. I feel like we can't.
You're making 2 games at that point.
100%, 100%. That'd be like, oh, those beautiful Resident Evil remakes. Hey, fixed camera. That shit. Stop. Let the past die. All right, we gotta move on, guys.
Josh, also a big fan of RE4. Don't even get him started. Don't even get him started. So the last piece of news that we have in 2022, so like a weird piece of news, but I think it's worth bringing up now is what I'm getting at. Bethesda said that Fallout 4 would receive a current gen patch, and since then it's just been crickets. They haven't said anything. They haven't announced anything. They haven't followed up on it. So my first thing is A, do you think we ever get it? And B, does that make you come back to Fallout 4?
Let me tell you, Todd Howard and his sweet little lies. Tell me more, sweet little lies. We've all seen that video. We all know the memes. The sweet little lies, Todd Howard. This is just something swept under the rug. Okay, 100%. I don't think it's happening.
Okay.
Especially given the feedback on four, and like I feel like it's just the modding community is the only one really supporting four and making their
Yeah,
own
and
unique
they
stuff.
are troopers. Like they are literally like heaven sent at this point. The thing is, we shouldn't have to rely on them. Like that's not
No,
fair to the
no.
IP. That's not fair to the
Hmm.
modders. That's not fair. So
But
yeah, let's not rely on modders. Modders are great. They make every game better.
yeah.
But it's just like maybe do your part.
Yeah, it's just for me, like, oh, we're obviously not getting it this year. It would be next year's thing. Four
Sure.
years, that is halfway through the console cycle for like to get a patch 4 years after the consoles have come out and 3 years after the Bethesda merger
Mhm.
or purchase. Too little, too late. That I
Yeah.
feel like that should have been a 2021 kind of deal, honestly.
And then there's me who no, I'm just kidding. I would probably download the patch, be like,
Mhm.
just in case.
Right.
Just in case, But I would not like jump on and start another playthrough of Fallout 4. But I would probably day one get the patch. Does that make sense? Like I'd
Yeah,
ensure that I had the latest version type of a deal.
100%.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So okay, that's been our news segment. That took a
Nuclear
decent amount of
fallout
time.
news.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh. Icebreaker questions.
Mhm.
So, as an icebreaker for our inaugural pilot episode, inaugural, I think I'm gonna use that right. Um, your special stats, your special strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, luck. How do you spec your character, Josh?
So, with Fallout being, one of the kind of first RPGs that I've played, like especially back in the day with Fallout 4, um, where you spec out a character early on and then jump in and you have to kind of stick with those stats. I kind of every time basic bitch it. I always go a little bit of points into each category, right? So I'll do like one and two
Mm,
into each, but
mhm,
they give you quite a few. So I
mhm.
always make sure I put extra into strength, mainly so I don't become over encumbered as easy.
Yep. Get it.
That is a
Get it.
must, right? Uh, and then a little into and then so extra into strength, extra into luck because just picking locks, stuff like that, finding coming
Sure.
across better items, always love that stuff. And then recently, after I played 3 and tried New Vegas, I went back and did 4 on the Xbox, and I put extra into charisma that time around,
Hell yeah.
mainly because the character talked, but also I wanted to pass, I wanted to get extra speak checks and like
Sure.
dialogue options, and then pass those, right?
Mm.
And my God, I might start just putting extra into charisma every time, just so I could just talk
Hell
my
yeah.
way out of shit at this point. I've
Love
never
it.
done a full like build playthrough where I'm like, okay, I'm only going strength, right? And I'm just
Yeah.
a dumb himbo who's just strong
Mhm.
and burly,
Yeah.
right? And I
Barbarian.
want to.
Mhm.
I definitely see myself doing that in the future,
Totally fine.
but God, charisma goes a long way to just
Uh-huh.
talk yourself out of shit.
Love it. I love it so much. I've never done like a full playthrough, but I have done like 90% of what I'm doing is charisma based. And
Yeah.
I called that my suave playthrough.
I
So
love that.
it's really, really fun. Generally I kind of lied in my notes because like in thinking, because I put a few different stats there. I
Mhm.
usually I think because okay, I'm dumb. When I play these games you can make your own character, I always try to be somewhat realistic to what I think my me being in the situation would kind of do
Do.
or like act, or because I know
Right.
I'd die immediately, it doesn't matter. But like I think if and when this happened, I would be like this. I'd be like this person. So I like charisma because like
Mhm.
I'm a fucking little bit baby back bitch. So I
Right.
would definitely be trying to talk my way out of things. Like that's what I
100%.
would do. I like perception because my friends have always said like I'm very observant. Like that's just something I've always been known for, and that's why I went and studied psychology for a bit
Right.
because I just picked up on things that normally people wouldn't apparently. And then agility is my other main one, simply because I'm a quick bastard. I don't have big muscles. Looking pretty good actually, not bad, not bad. But I think my main thing is my speed. Like in
Right.
reality, if I had to get away from anything, I'm not fighting my way out. I'm booking it. I'm
Right.
out of there.
Right.
So that's what I usually go to. And agility is like very beneficial for like your attack and stuff, and I enjoyed that. And
100%.
then my other one, that my fun one, I always like, if I don't know what I'm doing at the point, I always go luck. Like if
Yeah.
like,
Right.
I don't luck.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Oh yeah.
But
Always just
uh-huh.
pick a lock pass or stuff like
Mhm,
that. Is
mhm,
just
mhm.
something good to have.
Yep. So those are my four main ones, but I will say I always lean into one of those four kind of
Right.
at the beginning, and
Mhm.
then my first thing I always upgrade is strength. Does that
Oh
make sense?
yeah.
Because of just what you said. Like I don't, because I know me personally, I'm not that strong. So I like to,
Mhm.
like I said, I like to be kind of like relative to who I am. So I leave strength at like a 3 or a 4. And then the first time I level up, right into strength,
Right.
right in there. Because in reality, I'm like, hey, if I'm forced to be out there like busting my ass, I'd probably get a little stronger, right? That makes sense. Like if I'm
100%.
working my ass off. So
The way I always look at it, because I always look at it from the over encumbered and how much you can carry. I
totally.
just have a bigger backpack on, you know, and my backpack's bigger, and I'm just able to.
You're just like one of those caravans.
Yeah.
Just
Oh
freaking
yeah.
huge old
100%.
backpack. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's got deep pockets, It's got
Yeah.
really, really, really deep pockets.
Yeah. Alec, kicking it over to you. What do you
Yeah.
put it into?
How about your special?
I'm kind of a mix between both of you. Like I know I like my strength just for the over encumbrance and all that.
Right.
And then yeah, just kind of try to, I don't say evenly distribute, but just yeah, some into strength, some into endurance, just because
Mhm.
in my mind, it makes sense that you would need endurance as well to not be over encumbered to get that keep that stamina up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then yeah, very much like Austin. If I have some points I just don't know what to do with, just throw it into luck because
Mhm.
I always like to get those critical hits.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
But
100%.
And then
if I were
the one thing about New Vegas is like luck had a weird thing to it where you could experience weird. It was a perk, but I think it had to do with luck as well. I don't know.
mm,
Go ahead, Alec.
but if I were to go back now, because like one of the games, and it's similar vein, but I played The Outer Worlds a while back when
Right.
that first came
Mhm.
out,
Mhm.
and that was like the first game I really played that I didn't intend to go this route, but it was just one of those that I just went with it, and that's just the route my gameplay went, was kind of just the way really talking your way out of things. And then
Mhm.
again, if you listen to our content, you've known I've started getting into D&D this past year
Really cool. Really cool.
and playing that, and that's kind of changed my mindset in the way of like, it's so much fun to just to try and talk your way out of things
Oh
Sure.
yeah.
rather than just going straight in guns blazing like I normally
Mhm.
would.
Hmm.
And if you're someone like me, like I don't mind save scumming. Like I don't think that's a bad thing. I like to go into to a scenario and like
Mhm.
experience like everything I can for this scenario.
Right.
I have my canon kind of like this is what I did, and I always do that first, right? Um, but yeah, so like I will do the thing where like let's see if I can just talk my way out of this. Let's just see how far I can
Yep.
get, and if not,
Hmm.
guns blazing. Let's cut to the chase. Let's kill everyone. Yeah, kind of thing. So yeah, charisma is fun, even if you're just kind of experimenting. So yeah, thank you, Alec. Okay, the meat and potatoes of the episode, everyone. Like I said at the top with the whole rigmarole there, the point of this podcast is we are going to go through each and every vault in the Fallout lore, and we're going to rank them by how horrifying we find them. So we are starting today with one of my top favorites. I don't know if it's my number one favorite, but like when I thought of this idea, this was always the like pilot episode for me. Vault 112. And if you're listening to this, you might know, hey, isn't that the one with Tranquility Lane? Yes, it is. That's
100%
the
spot
one.
on.
Fallout 3, baby. So before I get into reading the quick snippet from fandom.com, thank you very much. Really good resource for especially stuff like this. So throw some attention over to fandom. Josh, do you have anything you want to talk about with this vault at the top, or do you just want to get right into it?
I just want to get it right into it. I love
Okay.
this vault so much. Experiencing it for the first time last year,
Mhm.
incredible. It's honestly probably the one of the most, I'd argue, the most unique vault in the games, right? But I
Yeah.
haven't fully experienced them all. But I think it stands out, and it is a temple. Like when you look at the vaults, it is the prime example, like what
Mhm.
fucked up shit they're doing and stuff like
Sure.
that. In there. Yeah.
But by that metric, yeah, like how fucked up can a vault be? It is definitely
Hmm.
up there. I think it's very different from most vaults, and we'll
Oh
get
yeah.
into that. So, all right, snippet from fandom.com. Vault 112 was one of the last vaults to be constructed. Now, I thought that was just an interesting thing just to talk about the start. It was one of the last to be constructed. That's interesting. Is that why it's more tech heavy? Like they leaned more towards this weird sort of simulation that we'll get into more in a second. But I just thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Right.
The construction started in November 2068 and finished in June 2074. It was intended for only 85 occupants. I remember seeing when I played the game like, poof, like 8, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suspended in a virtual reality world for the indefinite duration of the Vault's experiment. The vault was built to house and tend to the needs of its. Sorry, there's a gnat. Tend to the needs of its overseer, Doctor Stanislaus Braun. Doctor Braun is his
Right.
name. Creator of the Garden of Eden creation kit. Now, otherwise known as, do you know, Josh?
Gek.
Thank you. I knew you'd know. The Gek is a recurring thing in the Fallout universe and lore, and it stands for like I said, Garden of Eden creation kit. But it's essentially a what's the term I'm looking for? Because I brought it up on another tab. There's a term I'm looking for. This is a lot of empty time. I'm so sorry. Posting or something about sure. It's when you can change the Earth. What is that term? Terraform. Jesus
Terraform.
Christ.
Terraform. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. It
It
took
was
so
right on the tip of
long.
my tongue. Like I
Yeah.
literally
Were you
just
with
watched
me
a
that whole
video early.
time? Ah. Anyway, but yes, you can. It was a terraforming thing, and it would give you like the basics of how to like start living in nuclear holocaust or whatever, nuclear annihilation. Um, it was made before all the bombs fell. So I think that's an important thing to bring into that is that the Geks were designed before they genuinely knew how it would look and what you would actually genuinely need. So it's
Right.
only so good at what it does. It's not like perfect. Okay, so Dr. Braun is the leader of this vault, and he's also the creator of the Gek. Within it, Braun installed a virtual reality simulator and Visiontron loungers, initially containing several simulated utopias. I think that's also very interesting because the loungers come back in Fallout 4, right? Do you remember,
Right. Yes.
like,
There's
there's that very go ahead.
oh yeah, if I remember correctly, it's the quest where you're going through that one guy's memories
Mhm.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that in Hancock City, fucking Good Neighbor,
Mhm.
I believe, right? There's that
Mhm.
lounge where they have a couple pods in there that you can go through.
Mhm. 100%. And I don't know if that's like this was the first exposure I had to the loungers in Fallout. They
Right.
might be elsewhere, but the only time I remember them coming up in like something that was meaningful was Fallout 4. I thought that was an
Yeah.
interesting tidbit as well. Initially containing several simulated utopias. So Tranquility Lane wasn't even the only simulation. This could be simulation number 32 or
Right.
32,000. Like we have no idea. That which even makes it even more fucked up.
Hmm.
So initially containing several simulated utopias, the last of which is the Tranquility Lane simulation. The system should have permitted a select few to live a perfect life, virtually, if not practically, forever. So, this system was supposed to what? Randomly choose people to like have separate simulations. So,
Hmm.
like, it's Tuesday, the Adams family is going to have this simulation for the next week, or maybe it is
Right.
a second, who knows. But and then this people are going to have the worst simulation known to man, and
Hmm.
then this one's just a boring, like it's kind of even more fucked up that's it's chosen at random, or maybe it's not random, maybe we'll find out that it's not random. But continuing on, what Vault 112's occupants did not know was that once they entered the virtual reality pods, Braun would exercise complete control over the simulation. They had no means of leaving on their own. So they are not only slaves to Dr. Braun, they were told going into it, it would sort of be not only like utopia, but like there'd be several simulations, right? You're
Hmm.
going to live out your lives in here. You'll be safe. You can do whatever you want in these different scenarios. It'll be great. It'll be fine. But in reality, Dr. Braun was just fucking with them and using them as literal playthings as we continue. They became his playthings completely at his mercy. Dr. Braun, after becoming bored with various simulated worlds, would proceed to virtually kill each one of them. He would just kill them over and over again because he can't actually kill them.
Right.
It's just a simulation. So they just have to experience death over and over and over. Each time after killing them, he would wipe their memory and resurrect within the program. That's fucked up shit. All
Yeah.
right. I don't.
Oh yeah.
The, with all the media out there, all the things we've consumed, like the movies with all this fucked up lore and shit, this kind of seems like a trivial concept now,
Hmm.
but at the time in 2008, really cool. Um, regardless, really fucked up.
Oh yeah.
So Dr. Braun, he's really top of my list on just fucked up individuals.
I'd agree.
So, do
I'd agree. 100%.
you have any thoughts before I move on to some of my bullet points here, Josh?
Yeah, no, I love the lore of this and the playing and the subject and using as playthings, and I feel like
Sure,
that translates all very well to gameplay.
100%. And so let's get into that. The gameplay, how it was implemented in Fallout 3. This was a huge change of pace for
Hmm.
like what you were doing in the entire game, right? And I think that's really ballsy because it was in the main quest.
Right.
You had to do this quest. You had to experience this vault. Not only do I think it's extremely ballsy, they pulled it off. I think it's really, really, really well done. It's
100%.
so
And
cool.
I love the fact that, right, Dr. Braun, this is a special, unique vault where they're going to conduct this experiment. It's made, it's one of the last vaults ever made, right? And so he says, like, this is a prototype, right? They couldn't make more of them. This is why it's
Sure.
the only one like this.
Good point.
And because he was doing these fucked up experiments, it's hidden, right? And so you have to
Mhm.
like go to a gas station to find it, right? It's like very out the way. You do this like you find a weird drop down door, and it's
Mhm.
nothing like any of the other vaults in the game, right? You walk
100%.
up, you see the big ass vault door, right?
Yep.
You turn it over, right? This one is like you're just in a red rocket stop or whatever, right? And
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
looking for clues, and you flip the switch and go down into these tunnels, and you just find out all this fucked up shit going on down there. I
Uh-huh.
love it so much.
100%. I wanted to bring that up. That's a really good point. Like the even like finding the vault. Yes, you're being like shown where it's at because it's a quest marker. You have all that
Right.
kind of stuff. But when you go into this garage, you're like, what? Like I think the only thing it
Yeah.
says like enter blah blah blah's garage or
Yeah.
something like that. Like it's very vague, like vague. In
Hmm.
fact, you don't even know what you're looking for really. It might have said for vault. It might have said that, but
I
even going
think.
into a garage, being like, why would I see a vault
Yeah.
in the garage? Especially since, like you said, every other vault up to this point was like just either like in a cave,
Right.
maybe that would be the most it was hidden, or like a manhole cover, maybe
Hmm.
you're just be in the sewers. But like so, like sewer or cave was pretty much all we got up to this point, or mountainside kind of thing. But yeah, so this being hidden in a garage, really cool, really nifty. I like that a lot.
Hmm.
Even like so, even the lead up to it, I thought was really interesting. So yeah, he wanted to torture them and keep them alive. Piece of shit. Probably shouldn't be doing that.
Hmm.
Seems like something you shouldn't do. But I
Right.
think uh, not the kicker, but like just something that I thought was interesting. This is a grown ass man, and he decides to make himself a child, a female child
Right.
in the simulation.
I
What?
think. Well, because like a German scientist, right?
Sure,
Evil fucking guy.
sure.
One of my favorite moments, right, is that flip, right, when he is. I think he takes the name Sally or something like that, right? Whatever it
That
is,
might
right? And she starts giving you the quest, and then it's revealed that it's the scientist, right? And it
be. Hmm.
becomes this German accent, and this
Hmm.
thick German accent. It's just evil, right? But to hide that evil behind the perception of innocence, right?
Hmm.
As a young girl is like
Hmm.
even somehow more sick and twisted, right?
Yep, makes it even more fucked up. I
Uh,
totally agree. And he wants you to do some horrible shit, right?
hmm.
I think you can get through these objectives or uh, just the quest line by doing better things. I think all of them are pretty bad. Like I think you have to end the marriage. Like while you're in the simulation, you have to end the marriage of like the neighbors. You have to go essentially scare everyone or kill them with when you become like the half pint slasher or something like that. Does any of
uh,
this ring a bell?
well, I only found out about the half pipe, the half whatever the slasher, in the bad karma playthrough because the bad karma thing to do is to go along with his game. I
Exactly.
think you
Yes.
get to torture people up to the extent, but like your objective, like I think once he reveals himself, immediately becomes find the failsafe, right? And so you can start
Mhm,
tampering around
mhm.
after you make the kid cry. I think is when you can start really
Right.
looking
Yeah. So the
for
first thing you have to do is at least make the kid cry. I think you're
right,
right.
yeah,
And then the objectives after that are like end this marriage, blah blah blah, and then it's
yeah,
like kill this woman,
kill this woman.
and then after that it's like literally murder everyone.
Right. Yeah. And so it's weird that like the bad karma way out is to just go along with the game, kill everyone, and then just get out, and it's just you and your dad, and everyone stays in that simulation with him, right?
Who's the
Versus
dog, by the way? The dad is the dog.
he is the
Nice
dog,
touch.
right? 100%, man's best friend, right? But the good karma ending is getting the failsafe for the Chinese invasion, and then the Chinese military rolls up and kills everyone. But
How's that
like,
good karma?
because it's the failsafe, and he can't.
Manipulate them anymore,
Um,
kind
well,
of thing.
I think
I
you
guess that
kill
would work.
everyone because he
Yeah,
can't respawn them, right? So like, once they're dead there and the failsafe is there, he can't revive them. So you just
sure.
have these
And maybe
pods
that
for
is it. My thing is, how is that any different than killing them with the knife? How
because
does that not do the same
if you
thing?
kill him with the knife, the failsafe's not
They can respawn.
activated, so he can respawn them and keep
Okay.
torturing them,
So you're
right?
still killing them though, killing them.
Killing them, killing. Yeah, the good thing to
So
do
should
is
that be?
kill them, and
I
end their
agree.
suffering, right? That's
Should that be?
insane.
Should that be good karma? Is what I'm getting at.
To end the suffering, because
I guess it's
the
like
thing
good
is
karma plus
like
one.
it's like it's been 200 years since the bombs fell.
Sure,
These people have been enduring the pain and suffering of this fucked up German scientist for
that's
200
arguably
years.
worse. Could be arguably worse than what everyone else is dealing with. So
Yeah, and
Better of
so
two evils
even
kind of
like,
thing.
sure.
hmm so even the like the one lady who knows, right? She's like,
Oh,
you
that's
gotta
right.
end this. I can't remember her
Uh-huh.
name, but there's one lady that's onto the fact that this is a
Yep.
simulation after 200
Like right
years.
away. Right
Yeah,
away. I think you can talk to her, and she's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, but you're not supposed to be here," kind of a thing.
yeah. And so she's like almost asking you to fucking kill her, right?
Yeah, true.
And just end it all, right?
And the suffering. You're right. And you brought up the failsafe. And like you said, it was like the army coming in and just shooting everyone down,
Hmm.
ending their suffering per se. I also thought that was a really cool mechanic.
It's
Like,
like
the
in
way you come
terms,
across where you had to, like, click on the certain items in a certain
yeah,
sequence.
it's like radio gnome, fucking sofa, whatever the fuck, right? Like six,
Sounds trivial.
yeah.
In 2008, young Austin, I thought I was a fucking genius when I figured this shit out by myself, alright? That's all I'm saying.
Listening
That's what
for
I wanna get at.
the audio cues and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and
yeah,
figuring out what the sequential order is to trigger the,
yeah.
yeah, hundred
It
percent.
reminds me of when I'm gonna say this, when older folks talk about,
Hmm.
you should have played these games back in the day. We were hard. We didn't have guides. I
Yeah,
didn't look up a guide for that, you know?
me
I mean, sure, it's
neither.
not the hardest thing, not the hardest thing ever, I guess, but like little me was like, yeah, I did that. I figured that out
Yeah,
all in my noodle, all by myself. So I thought that was nifty. Okay, and like I said before, I mean, I already talked about it, but it was a really good change of pace in the game, and it was ballsy to put it in the main quest. But I
hmm
also think it's a prime example. Amazon Prime coming on the show. I think it's a prime example of like the storytelling that Bethesda can pull off in this universe.
hundred
Like,
percent.
if you told me this was gonna be in the game, even if I understood what Fallout was, like I
Yeah,
would not have expected it. Like I'd be like, no way, no way
yeah,
they do that kind of thing. But now I'll be like, hell yeah, they do that.
right.
Now that I understand it, like, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely gonna be in there. And it's like I don't want to say it's the pinnacle, but
Hmm.
it's up there. So
I don't know. Like when you think about this and four, right? And how both are very much, that father son relationship, looking to find each other in this fucked up world, right? uh for that, like, you have to go through a lot to get there, right? And build this you have to use the base building
yeah,
mechanics to build this teleporter to
ugh.
get teleported into the institute. It's a long,
A settlement needs help.
yeah, right. It's just a long, just laborious process, right?
Uh-huh.
Versus this is the last thing you do before you see your dad in three, right? And so
Sure.
like you've had this long journey of going to
Rivet City.
Rivet City and finding
Mhm.
out, like, just pacing together all the clues and what your dad was out here doing, right? And why
Uh-huh.
he like up and
This was
abandoned
also
you
the
in the
point where where I realized it was Liam Neeson. Because like at the beginning of
right.
the game, you hear him talk, and you're like, "Oh, that sounds like Liam Neeson," kind of thing.
Oh,
But
yeah,
then I was like, "That's fucking Liam
right. Yeah.
Neeson."
But you go on this long journey that's, more than just building parts and stuff, right?
Sure.
And getting teleported. And then this is like the last thing you have to do is go into this deep uh fucked up the vault, find out
Mhm.
what's happening, right? And
Mhm.
that everyone's being tortured, and you either have to go along with the games or you have to break out of the simulation. And I feel like that's a little bit, like, at least from a story perspective, like I felt a little bit more satisfied, like after I found my dad there, versus
Yeah.
four, in terms of just using the base building mechanics. I felt like that was just a way to shoehorn that into the story, versus this I felt like very
Uh,
natural storytelling with the
yeah.
vaults and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So when
In
it's
Fallout 4, you're looking for your son,
right.
right? Like you are the dad. So
Mhm.
it's a little different, but yeah, I think you're right. The pacing in which you're kind of like forced to endure up to that
Yeah,
point, it meant more in 3. I totally agree.
100%.
I mean,
Yeah.
Fallout 4 ending is kind of shit anyway,
Right,
but
and so, like, yeah, once you go through this and you either kill everybody or you kill everybody, actually kill them, and
yeah.
your dad and yours pause at the only two to open, and you're like
Mhm.
reunited, and you got the gap right, like that's a
Mhm.
rewarding moment, I think, in the game.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, and I guess I never even thought about the angle of you doing the evil part of it and then being like, "Hi, dad."
Oh yeah,
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
So, like, because I always say I'm gonna be evil karma. I never do. I
Uh,
can't do it, man.
my last achievements was like reach level 30 with like bad karma or whatever, and
Sure.
I thought they stacked, and they didn't stack, right? So I made it to like level 30 with bad karma, and then they're like, okay, we'll do level 10 and level 15. I'm like, okay, you're just asking me to play a whole new game at this point. So I did the playthrough, and I blew up Megaton, and I was just an asshole. And those pods
Yeah, okay.
open, I killed everyone.
The
Those pods opened, and Liam Neeson was like, "Man, I have heard stories, and I am disappointed in you." And I was like, "Fuck you,
Thanks,
dad.
dad.
Not different than my real dad." It
Just
was
saved your
like,
ass, pops. You could be a
yeah,
dog, all right?
100%.
It's good, it's good, it's good. But yeah, I think yeah, it's just an angle I never thought about really.
Yeah,
Huh. Yeah.
very good
And
one.
Fallout 3 is my favorite game, man. I never even thought about that. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and I would never chase that trophy. Like I said, I've tried to do the 100%. I've tried to do the karma stuff. I never will. I can't bring myself to do
Dude,
it. I'm a wuss.
I blew up Megaton and I made it to
Yeah,
level 5, or I can't remember. I think it's like 10, 15, 30,
sure,
right? Made it to
sure.
level 10 with bad karma. Then I was like, fuck, I have to make it to level 10 with neutral karma. Now I'm not doing
Yeah.
a third playthrough because I've already put in 40 hours into this game. So I
Yeah.
just went to one of the homeless guys and I said, hey, outside of Pennington Tower, because I was posted
Uh-huh.
up there because I had
Uh-huh.
my bad karma. And I was like, I'm just gonna feed you purified water, and that's all I did. I just 30 bottles a day until he liked me enough. My karma was neutral.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that was one thing, the bad karma where I did save scum and I was like, I just want to see what happens.
right.
I'm gonna blow it up. Come on.
Right.
Come on. I'm gonna blow a Megaton up. So
Everyone's intrusive thought
yeah,
is
yeah,
to
yeah.
blow up. Like,
And I think you can go to Tenpenny Tower and like see it happen. And it's a whole thing.
it's
It's kind of cool.
hey, it's shit's kiss.
Okay, so that will close out our show for the most part. But before we get there, we are going to rank. We have 2 ranking systems as of right now. It could be more added later. Who knows? Who knows how this palette is gonna like entail by the end of the show, by the end of the season here. Um, Overseer rankings. So clearly, we've only had one so far, so he'll be number 1. But my question is, Braun. Do we think he remains number 1, or do we think he's just top tier? Is he number 1 or just top tier?
I'm not gonna lie. It's been a hot minute, and I
Sure.
don't fully know. Like, I feel like a lot of the overseer lore you get from their logs, right? It's very rare that like I mean you do occasionally interact with an overseer, right? And you come across a vault with an active overseer there, right? And you can speak to him, right? Like the first
Yep.
vault in 3, right? But a lot of it, I feel like you learn the lore through the actual logs. And so for
Mhm.
this, for you to speak one on one with this fucked up German scientist,
Mhm.
you figure
Mhm.
out what's going
Mhm.
on, and he's like, "Oh yeah, du played my little games." And he's a fucking little 6-year-old girl,
Nailed it.
right,
Nailed it.
and
10 out of 10.
shit like that. Like I there, it's just so sinister. It's so fucked up. It just oozes lore and it just narrative storytelling goodness. Like I love it,
Uh-huh.
dude. I love it so much. And
Wow.
so
Wow.
I I don't know if it gets dethroned. At least
Wow.
at the time right now, I can't think of an overseer better than this. Than this dude.
That's a statement. And by better, he means the most fucked up, for the record.
Yeah,
For the
yeah,
record.
yeah.
but
I
but
can't
yeah,
think of one word.
I sure. I think he's gonna remain top tier. I don't think he'll be number 1. But I
Okay,
also know a little bit more about the lore than you do,
right.
so let's take that with a grain of salt. So,
Okay. Fair
but
enough.
yeah,
Fair
I
enough.
think Braun is a very good like A tier to S tier. I just don't
Yeah.
know if he's gonna be number 1 with a
Yeah,
bullet.
I think he just perfectly encapsulates like the evil
Totally.
that Vault Tech was doing, right,
100%.
and stuff like that.
100%. He's like the gold standard, just not
Yes,
necessarily maybe the best to ever do it,
right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And I don't even know if it's like ever directly said, I am the overseer. It might have been.
it's
He
heavily,
is. The
yeah,
lore says like he is the overseer. I just don't know in like in game if he's ever like, this was my vault type of a deal. You know what I mean?
right.
So
Yeah,
so I will put Braun at number 1. If I could type, that would be great. So the next ranking system we have is, like we said, the whole point of the show, ranking the vaults by how fucked up they are. And it's going right at the top because we've only done one so far. But if you really like Braun, I can see you really liking Vault 112. So I think it's safe to say that this is going to be near the top of the list. What do you think?
100%. I think I think with the implementation here and stuff like that, the way you play the level and with what's actually going on, I think like it is a perfect example of a perfect vault. Right,
Mhm.
all the storytelling and lore bits that you picked up on is reflected in the gameplay in terms of like a hidden vault doing fucked up experiments and going deep down and
Sure.
figuring out all the fucked up shit going on. It's perfectly encapsulated there, and then to actually play through the simulation and stuff like that, um, I think it's just so well executed, and you just find out just how fucked up this thing goes, right?
Mhm.
It makes you want to explore other vaults and stuff like that. So I think maybe by the end of the show may not be number 1, but I do think it
Mhm.
still remains in top tier.
Totally. Yeah, I don't know if it remains number one, but I
Hmm.
don't think there's any way it gets lower than like top 5. Like I
Yeah,
really
100%.
think it's gonna be like I think even Vault 112 will almost stick higher in the ranking than Braun, and that might be a hot take,
Ooh,
but
okay.
I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case because I just think that it's like you said, it's almost the gold standard again. So maybe they do are like
Right.
even. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? But I think it's safe to say that it'll remain to the top at the top. I just closed the
Okay.
doc to all this, so hopefully I didn't have anything else on there. Oops. So yeah, that will be the show. One of the things I never do is learn how to close a show. So how we closing this thing, Josh?
Just typical YouTuber fashion, man. Comment down below what your favorite fucked up vault is. What do
Yeah,
you think about this vault? What do you think about this episode? What do you think about this podcast as a whole?
yeah.
Uh, you
Please
know,
do comment, like
comment
genuinely,
down
like
below, right?
give us some advice. Like why did it suck? Tell
Oh
us
yeah.
why. Like I
Well,
genuinely want to know.
would you like to see the Pit Boys return, past rank in the vaults and do, episode by episode breakdowns of the show? Let us know. Let us know just all that good stuff. If you hated this episode, don't comment that. Just say your thoughts to yourself, please. I can't handle it.
No, do comment because that helps drive the algorithm.
Or
Yeah,
yeah, comment, but just
I'll warn you.
Leave your
We
favorite emoji. Boom.
yeah,
Something simple.
your favorite negative emoji. If
oh
you want to be
negative,
negative, you don't like the show,
yeah,
you know,
just put a
maybe
poop
like little devil
emoji.
horns or some shit. I don't know, but
Yeah. Uh,
Josh, I'll warn you. I'll be like, hey, there's a negative comment. Don't read it.
okay,
So
okay.
I'll give you a little heads up.
Yeah. But other than that, watch all the other stuff we got going on. We got reviews for all
100%.
the hot new games. Game of the Year time is going to be a month out at this point. There's new games
Yeah.
galore. No show coverage because, fuck the studios out, don't want to pay writers or actors. But we also got regular shared screens podcasts you can watch and all that good
Mhm.
stuff.
And media clips. Yeah.
And media club.
Good stuff. So much
Hmm.
stuff. So please genuinely support us if you like this at all, or at least see the potential in this show. Give us a
Yes.
like, share it with your friends on X.com, Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter. I'm sorry, it's just fucking Twitter. Okay. And do all those things that you know you should do if you want to see us succeed. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Austin. That's been Josh. Goodbye.